Culture Clubhouse. We like to discuss the cultural implications of Counter-Strike plays. That's something that's quite close and near to our heart.
Yes, no play is created equal.
So my submission to the Culture Clubhouse is something a bit different. We're going more modern day.
Okay.
I'm talking first CS2 major. I'm talking a team that lost more rounds than they won but still lifted the trophy. I'm talking an MVP for JL out of nowhere. Okay, we're going to Copenhagen.
All right, let's roll the bad boy.
Let's roll the bad boy and get into this one. So Na'Vi versus FaZe. So it was the first map, Na'Vi on match point, and the CTs are on NiKo. So it should just be over. You're casting this one.
It is David v Goliath.
This round was wild. Scrappy had everything.
Na'Vi can feel this. They want this. Just a pistol of broken.
It felt like this was going to keep going, right? But then JL had other ideas.
JL, can he save the day? Can he cook something up here?
I mean, picking up the bomb, how long's he got now? So 30, no, less, 18. I see this little brokey hesitation there. He's going back, he changed his mind, which gives him this little gap to slip out short. Gets that bomb down, and then he's running at him.
Haunting clip. That like causes too much pain to me. That had just been, a second different. It could have been a whole different story.
All the pressure is on Rain's shoulders. No kit means it's done. The kill. And JL has arrived in the Royal Arena.
JL gets an MVP at the end of this major, lifts the trophy. That's also after kind of making even just like a debut in Paris at the end of CSGO. He comes in a CS2 with a vengeance.
This isn't the history club, though.
No, you're dead on.
This is the culture.
Yes. Cultural impact builds up over the course of the game, right? And so this one, like, is it a good play? Yeah.
Yes.
But is it the defining play that won them the major? I don't think you can say it is.
Would you say that it's fair that it cannot be more than a 6 when that is the case?
Yeah. I'm thinking that too.
But something you haven't considered is that individual brilliance is kind of
मेरा माइक ही ऑन नहीं था यार। ओरा माइनस कोई बात नहीं। तो आज आपका स्वागत है मेरी लाइव स्ट्रीम में, जिसमें हम लाइव स्ट्रीम कर रहे हैं ऑस्टिन मैचेस 2025, जिसमें आज मैच होगा हमारा नहीं मतलब फैल्कन्स का। फैल्कन्स अगर आप नहीं जानते तो उसमें मेरा माइक ही ऑन नहीं था यार, 1 मिनट। ओरा माइनस कोई बात नहीं। तो आज आपका स्वागत है मेरी लाइव स्ट्रीम में, जिसमें हम लाइव स्ट्रीम कर रहे हैं ऑस्टिन मैचेस 2025, जिसमें आज मैच होगा हमारा नहीं मतलब फैल्कन्स का। फैल्कन्स अगर
आवाज
आप नहीं
काफी
जानते
फट रही है
तो
मेरी।
मेरा माइक ही ऑन नहीं
अरे बंद है।
एक मिनट क्या चल रहा है मेरे को भी नहीं पता। हाँ, एक मिनट। ओके काफ़ी काफ़ी बुरा हो रहा है हमारी लाइव स्ट्रीम के साथ, कोई बात नहीं। एक मिनट। सो आज मैच है फाल्कन्स का B8 के साथ एंड काफ़ी मज़ा आने वाला है। फाल्कन्स मेरी फेवरेट टीम है क्योंकि इसमें निको और मोनेसी है, दोनों मेरे काफ़ी अच्छे प्ले, मतलब काफ़ी पसंद है मेरे को ये टीम CS2 की। एंड साथ ही साथ फेस क्लेन का भी मैच है। गेस व्हाट फेस क्लेन में कौन है? द गोट, द लेजेंड, सिंपल। सो आज उसका भी मैच है, वो मुझे पता नहीं किसके साथ मैच है। और बस यही था आज, मतलब यही था मेरा इंट्रो आज का। एंड जो B8 है वो काफ़ी अच्छी टीम है, रुको मैं आपको दिखाता हूँ। एक मिनट। विंडोज़ कैप्चर, और ये खुल गया हमारा विंडोज़। एक मिनट ऐसे कर लेता हूँ, अब अच्छा लग रहा है। एक मिनट मैं इसको भी ओपन कर लेता हूँ। सो आप देख सकते हैं B8 और फाल्कन्स की विन रेट्स को, एंड आप देख सकते हैं कि कितना अच्छा खेलती है B8। मेरे को बस देखो, मेरे को ये तो पता है कि देखो ऑब्वियसली हमारी टीम, मतलब फाल्कन्स का जीतना मुश्किल है, पर लास्ट टाइम यानी कुछ, मतलब लास्ट टूर्नामेंट से ये जिस तरीके से खेल रही है उसके हिसाब से मैं बोलूँगा कि ये मतलब काफ़ी अच्छा खेल रही है, मैं ये बताना चाहूँगा। और एक मिनट। एंड मैं बस चाहता हूँ कि ये टीम जीत जाए, मतलब फाइनल्स तक तो जाए, मैं बस ये चाहता हूँ ताकि मैं, मतलब ठीक है भाई मुझे नहीं पता। और मेरे को सबसे बुरा लगा कि भाई इसमें क्योसुके नहीं है। क्योसुके मतलब सब बोल रहे थे कि क्योसुके आएगा मेजर्स के फाइनल्स में, मतलब ऑस्टिन मेजर्स में आने वाला है, पता नहीं क्यों नहीं आया, पता नहीं कुछ तो होगा, या फिर एकदम फाइनल में जब जीतेगी तब आएगी, मतलब तब आएगा। अरे यार इसको बंद कर देता हूँ मैं। मैच अभी स्टार्ट होने में काफ़ी टाइम है। सब, अरे B8 तो ऊपर से यूक्रेन यूक्रेन की टीम है भाई, जस्ट थिंक अबाउट इट। अगर आपने कभी किसी रशियन के साथ खेला होगा CS2 तो आपको पता होगा कि कितना अच्छा खेलते हैं। एंड उसके बाजू में ही तो यूक्रेन है, मतलब कंट्री, मैं कुछ गलत ना बोल दूँ यार। चलो तो मैच स्टार्ट होने वाला है। निको, यस, जोनिक। जोनिक काफ़ी कूल है, पता है, मतलब जोनिक कूल है, मतलब कि वो भी कभी CS का प्लेयर हुआ करता था। एंड अरे हाँ चलो अब सेट हो गया है मेरा। अरे एक मिनट यार, ये तो मन नहीं ना। ठीक है, तो मैं बात कर रहा था जोनी की। जोनी की कभी काउंटर स्ट्राइक प्लेयर हुआ करता था, एंड अगर आप उसकी थोड़ी सी हिस्ट्री देखेंगे तो उसमें आपको दिखेगा कि भाई उस बंदे ने एस किया था भाई। काउंटर स्ट्राइक 1.6 या पता नहीं कौन सी थी, मुझे कभी नहीं पता। मोनेसी भाई, मोनेसी। चलो ऑन करते हैं इसके, मतलब साउंड और डेस्कटॉप ऑडियो ऑन कर देता हूँ, आप भी देखते रहना साथ में। जो भी आ रहा है स्ट्रीम में, स्वागत है आपका। थैंक यू फॉर ज्वाइनिंग दिस स्ट्रीम। अगर कोई है तो, मेरे सिवाय तो मुझे लगता कोई है।
Ancient for Bates, it's perhaps their second most comfortable map in their map pool. So again, considering it's a best of one,
आज अच्छी स्ट्रीम चल रही है, मैं मजाक भी नहीं करूंगा। कनेक्शन
is, I think, a pretty good sign. They've got 10 maps played, 80% win rate for Bait. So again, you know, obviously we take into mind obviously that they're not playing against the same caliber of competition to get the stats that they have compared with Falcons. However, you know, we're talking about comfort really, I think. And so for them at least, they are certainly going to have a well-developed playbook, a lot of routine. It's a map that they go to and have success with.
ये रहा हमारा मैजिस्क काफी कूल प्लेयर है, लेकिन पता है मैं एक बात कहूँ, मैजिस्क ने आई थिंक सबसे ज्यादा क्या बोलते हैं मेजर्स जीते होंगे। और वो भी पता है क्या, उसका जो कोच था ना, मतलब वो पहले कभी एस्ट्रेलिस में हुआ करता था, एंड एस्ट्रेलिस में मैजिस्क हुआ करता था, एंड मैजिस्क का जो कोच था एस्ट्रेलिस वाला वो भी जोनी की था। तो गेस व्हाट, कोई बात नहीं। ये पता नहीं, ये वाले मेरे मोबाइल में चल नहीं रहा है यार अच्छे से, मेरे को सही में गुस्सा आ रहा है इसकी वजह से। 8:30 बज गए हैं, चलो मैच चालू करो यार। किक्सन भी काफी अच्छा प्लेयर है, ये भी आई थिंक मुझे अच्छे से याद नहीं, पर ये भी काफी अच्छा था।
Epic. There's so much that could be lost right now. If you go 0-2 right off the bat, you're in a really weird position, and they know it as well. They've all tried it before, more or less. So you've got to find a way to.
चिप्स विप्स भी रख के रखा है भाई, चिप्स। साथ ही साथ पेप्सी मैं बहुत दिनों बाद पीऊंगा। मैं रिकमेंड नहीं करूंगा किसी को पीने के लिए, पर मैं इतने दिनों बाद पी रहा हूँ तो चलेगा, मेरे को चलेगा।
On the other side of it, you know, head trick are going to be opening there. I think that's a really tough ask. Head trick up against MONESY. They obviously know each other and everything else, but still, that's a big requirement. I think for Bait, the power and the advantage is in how much they play. Like in the last 3 months, Falcons have played this four times, and for Bait, it's about 11 times in the last 3 months. So it's a lot more maps played for either side here, which is interesting to think about. NiKo getting himself set up and ready.
क्या लगता है कौन बनेगा? कमेंट में लिखना अगर कोई देख रहा है तो। मतलब कौन बनेगा MVP पहला मैच का? चलो मैच चालू होने वाला है। टेसस भी काफी अच्छा प्लेयर है, मैं मजाक नहीं करूंगा। मैंने इसको लास्ट टाइम मैं जब IEM डैलस देख रहा था CS2 का। चलो चालू हो गया। काफी अच्छा मैच होने वाला है, मेरे को काफी मजा आने वाली है।
We got mid control, we got front of B. There's nobody on the B bomb side for Falcons. It's a massive gamble. They've been studying and they feel like they know what Baits are going to do, and they're absolutely wrong.
Do you have a kit though on Kicksan?
NiKo का सही में काफी पता है वो चल रहा है, मेरे को वो बुरा लगा, मतलब डाउनफॉल चल रहा है बेचारे का। और फिर भी अच्छा खेलता है, मैं ये मना नहीं करूंगा, बंदा अच्छा खेलता है फिर भी। प्लांट भी हो गया वाह। NiKo, यस लेट्स गो NiKo भाई खेल रहा है अच्छा, 2 किल NiKo के।
Nice timing from Baby.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
SNTL all alone.
Woo!
That's not going to work out.
पहला मैच Falcons के लिए.
That's an impressive retake. I mean, you asked the question, right? Do they play in front of it or do they try and play further behind? There probably is no really right answer.
अरे इसमें वो नहीं है क्या, मतलब जैसे बाकी सबका वो होता है ऑडियंस की बात कर रहा हूँ, इसमें ऑडियंस नहीं दिख रही मेरे को. जैसे मैं IMDLS देख रहा था एंड मेलबर्न देखा था तो उसमें काफी सारी ऑडियंस थी, पर मेलबर्न वाली सबसे बेस्ट ऑडियंस है. मैं एक चीज ये भी बोलूंगा.
No, it did just get run over. And it did feel again like they had the element of surprise working out in their favor there, but quick movement through.
अच्छी स्ट्रीम चल रही है, ये बोलूँगा.
Mid there for MONESY, and got some decent ranges to work with between the FAMAS and the M4s, but you can close the distance on this map.
FAMAS ले लिया
है. It's definitely dangerous. We do have helmets everywhere though for the CTs, so they are well prepared in regards to that. No surprising Mac 10 kills with those helmets on deck.
Yeah, that is a bit of an advantage. And so is this position that's been taken up in the middle, very forward in the red room. That's a potential.
Oh, let's go, let's. अरे
taking down MPL, that actually can be a bit of a.
टेसेस का पता है, IMDLS वाला मेरे को एस बहुत मस्त लगा था, बहुत अच्छा लगा था, मैं सही बोलूँगा.
Kixan as well at the B bomb site. His red room still not really being activated from Kansas, so he's just going to be hanging around for the minute. But yeah, NPL out of the round, but I think, you know, still reasonable trade, under 50 seconds.
आया.
Try to see if they can get the crunch on towards the B bomb site. Alex with a nice opening on NiKo.
Haga NiKo, haga.
Imagine there's too much happening all around him. Ends up going down to Hetrick, and now MONESY spotted in the middle. Don't fight him. It's so smart to stay away here. He will swing for it, but gets the dink at the end. I think we can accept that. MONESY probably realizing here with 24 health in the 1v2 that is.
MONESY यार फंस गया.
So
मेरे को पता है क्या सबसे बुरा क्या लगा, एंसेंट में इन लोगों का 100% विन रेट है. 100%. मतलब ये B8 वालों का. तो टेंशन रहेगा, क्या होगा पता नहीं.
The combination of speed and attack 9, you can just destroy you. Just a quick headshot of that Tech 9 and you're in problems very, very swiftly. MONESY, able to survive against Hetrick. Yeah, FAMAS on board, but I mean,
चलो दूसरा मैच B8 के लिए
is no easy feat, and that force buy is going to pay off and put Falcons immediately on the back foot.
टेसेस अच्छा खेला, मजाक नहीं करूँगा. एक किल तो किया उसने कम से कम. NiKo.
Alex was taking a fight against Megis, who's way at the back, so yeah, that's huge.
And it's actually so tricky too, right? Because with that Falcons, they're playing around where they don't have as much util as normal, because they're like, oh, we're worried about the force buy and we want to have enough.
अबे इन्होंने टाइम आउट भी ले लिया यार. चलो कोई बात नहीं.
But then to do that, we have to have a trade-off, which is less utility. And so with less utility against the pistols, well, you have to kind of take straight-up fights. And in the close ranges, which the Ts can kind of force, suddenly the pistols don't actually look so bad against the rifles.
Especially not that range with the Tech 9, right? You could do whatever you want, really.
Yeah.
You could do whatever you want, really.
Yeah.
Early timeout for Falcons. Now, that in itself is, you know, kind of a signal. Sonic saying, you know what, we do need to keep everything on the lockdown.
Damn. मेरे को ये जानना पड़ेगा कि आवाज़ आ रही है कि नहीं. 1 मिनट है दोस्तों, थोड़ी देर के लिए स्ट्रीम की आवाज़ बंद करता हूँ, इसकी चालू करता हूँ. मेरी आवाज़ अच्छी नहीं आ रही थी, मैं ये बोलूँगा, इसलिए मैंने थोड़ा सा कम किया था आवाज़.
Goes down also.
अब अच्छा, अब शायद से आवाज़ आएगी अच्छे से.
Small consolation. Kixan against the world. It's very
Falcons जीतनी चाहिए भाई.
Get much done from this position, and so with that said, looks like a pretty clean conversion so far. It would be nice if Kixan could steal a weapon away, like get some kind of value at the end of the round, but even that seems unlikely at this point.
Yeah, I think unfortunately they're
Kixan, अबे ये लोग क्या खेल रहे हैं भाई? मर कैसे रहे ये लोग?
We were trying to discuss a little bit in the pre-game.
मतलब पता है फैल्कन्स का सबसे अच्छा यही है कि ये लोग पता है स्टार्टिंग में 6-7 मैच हारेंगे, फिर अचानक से जो कमबैक करेंगे ना, पर यही सबसे बुरी चीज है कि इनका कमबैक भी बहुत ही बेकार है. मेरे को अभी भी पता है IM मेलबर्न वाला याद है भाई. उसमें मतलब स्टार्टिंग में तो जीत गए थे, मतलब टाई हो गया था 2-2 मैच 2-2 मैप का. फिर लास्ट में जो मैच हुआ था उसमें अच्छा खेली थी न्यूक में फैल्कन्स, लेकिन लास्ट में जो हगा ना 12-6 थे शायद से 12-6 या 12-5 था, और लास्ट में जो वाइटैलिटी ने जो कमबैक किया था ना यार, वाइटैलिटी भी मेरी फेवरेट टीम है. मतलब जब मैंने स्टार्टिंग की इस साल से देखना ये CS टूर्नामेंट्स, तो सबसे पहला जो मतलब पहली जो टीम को सपोर्ट कर रहा था वो वाइटैलिटी थी. मतलब मेरी सबसे अच्छी बात क्या है कि मैं जब भी किसी टीम को सपोर्ट करता हूँ तो पहले मैं उसकी हिस्ट्री देख लेता हूँ, या पूरी उस टूर्नामेंट की हिस्ट्री देख लेता हूँ. उसके बाद जब मुझे पता चलता है कि अच्छा ये टीम है, उसके बाद ही मैं किसी को सपोर्ट करता हूँ. उससे पिछले साल F1 में भी मैंने यही किया था. F1 ओह शीश मैजिस. ये लोग तो उसमें चले गए, क्या बोलते हैं, इको राउंड खेलने लगे ये लोग.
Day 5 of playing Counter-Strike at the major.
Yeah.
They're going to have a very different emotion about this. It's like, we're in the office now. We know what the hotel is like. We know what the setup is like. We know everything. We've already been here. We've fought our way through, and actually with quite a bit of success as well. Whereas for Falcons, we're just, fresh off the plane. Hey, what's up, guys? Like, we're at the major, and now...
तो आज भी मानता हूँ यार, निको की वो एक गलती की वजह से वो 2021 वाला मैच जैसा हार गया. मतलब वो जीत सकता था इजीली, और नहीं सबसे अच्छी बात है सिंपल जीत गया था. मतलब सिंपल भी तो गोट है.
Okay, Hetrick is well, he's got teammates letting Max end at it. Alright, so everyone gets sprayed down, and we're going to be into the real counter-strikes in a second.
टेंशन हो रही है मेरे को अभी.
As finally Falcons will be able to buy rifles and also utility, so they'll be able to make some fun plays whenever they want.
I'm hearing screaming from the A stream, so that's got to be interesting news, no question. A bit of a fight happening over there. FaZe against Heroic, in case you aren't aware. 3-1. And like you pointed out, the first actual rifle round coming out from Falcons. This is the downside of losing that early round.
Nice, MONESY.
Pushing in on top of the grenade that was thrown there, so they had the idea that could have happened, but they weren't really mentally ready. So Alex gonna end up going down early in the round here, and these Falcons can justify falling back and playing a lot more defensively.
Yeah, which is perfect. And speaking of utility, only a smoke and a flash left now on Falcons with over a minute 20.
प्रेशर डाल दिया है. अरे निको यार, सही में निको का बहुत बड़ा डाउनफॉल चल रहा है. मेरे को यही बुरा लगा. Magisk, nice.
Because he's got another player there, Kixan, ready to also try to trade if necessary.
प्रेशर डाल दिया है उन लोगों के ऊपर, B8 वालों के ऊपर, तो शायद से ये मैच जीत जाए. ये वाला राउंड जीत जाए.
It's going to be very tough, I think, to stop this. Obviously, MONESY is the closest player, but his assistance is so far away at this point.
He doesn't... One, they don't have any smokes, so how are they going to get the bomb planted? Yeah, as long as he's in Donut, if they have one more Molotov, they can put some pressure on him in Donut, like they can obviously Molotov this position, but if they don't, then planting the bomb is actually not that easy, even with smoke.
Oh, nice, MONESY.
Stunning headshot.
MONESY अच्छा खेलता है, ऊपर अच्छा है. अरे मैं जिस गया. Nice.
Wide on that one, so Tess's good job, and obviously MONESY getting a couple of kills there. I think the real threat for Bait in this round is the lack of smokes to set up anything. You can see they weren't even really trying for the bomb plant. They were trying to get kills to establish enough space for it. So tricky round, and yeah, I like this from Falcons early on.
Yeah, it seemed like they got scared off of that mid after they saw their unrelenting peaks from Falcons, and I wonder if that was the plan. I mean, it feels as though, like you say, they go into that A play with not really the utility that you would want to be able to do that properly. So either way, we're into the next round. And another creep coming in here, but this time from MPL up the B ramp, looking for
nice. कौन है उधर? अरे बच गया बाल बचा. Nah, Tessus.
In that deep corner, able to punish, and that's going to be an early 5v4 in favor of Falcons. And now Bait, they've got to figure out what do they want to do off the reset. Okay, that's not bad.
No, that is a bit of a touchdown.
गया Tessus. नहीं बच गया. मुझे लगा अंदर जाने वाला है.
That grenade, how cool. Tessus playing here, not worried about getting wall banged at the moment. It looks like they do want to go for a bit of a B split potentially, which is something, if you look at the statistics for the strategies, they do love to play these B splits on the Bait side, and Tessus completely caught off guard and not ready for anybody to walk out. He was expecting that there would have been more of a grenade inside of the cave. Now
Come
NiKo,
on.
he wants to save the day, but
Nice.
this is going to have to be one hell of a
NiKo.
multi-kill. He's got the first one onto Alex, now being flashed in, trying to take the fight here. Some backup is coming in, but MONESY at his back. And Megas walking in on the other side. 3 versus 3 in the after part here. Henderson with a nice headshot to start it off. They're dropping a bit low on health here on the Bait side of things, but still, the bomb is taken in their favor. Another headshot coming through as Megas goes down, and NiKo will be
NiKo
in the grave. Bait,
कोई बात नहीं.
a really good round here that they need early on to shut down Falcons.
Yeah, the cave position being critical there on finding the entry, but also when we saw NiKo, you know,
Simple ही पता है बहुत वो हुआ है, nerf हुआ है.
Enjoyed
2021 के बाद. पता है क्या? Simple में पता है ये कभी Falcons टीम में हुआ करता था. And इतना बेकार खेला था ना तब.
I feel like okay, my teammate can just trade me if I peek here, but you still don't have to peek heavily, and they just had such.
मेरे को face clan का भी देखना है. Face clan का एकदम मतलब एकदम parallel ही चल रहा है match.
Looking to go into the red room potentially through that smoke, or after it dissipates.
I mean, they've guessed the economy, right? So Kensasor is just so close to the middle of the MAC-10. He wants to farm with it if he can, if they're going to allow him to. Why not?
Nice. NiKo by Deagle. NiKo Deagle by.
All you've risked is a MAC-10. Nobody cares.
अरे मैं क्या था यार?
Appreciate that he took a second just to be absolutely sure here. Maybe don't challenge NiKo too much in the middle when he's got the deal. That's the reason why he is world famous for this particular gun. Both for good and bad, if you're being honest.
Yeah,
but,
depending on the map.
but mostly good. Mostly for the better. Nice double kill for NiKo, but still, if they group up here, Bait, they've got a pretty heavy advantage in taking the round. NiKo's managed to reposition. No, looks for another and he'll take down Alex.
भाई बहुत अच्छा खेल रहा है NiKo. Deagle के साथ भाई. He is a Deagle Deagle user.
Now moving towards the B bomb site. Tessus is going to be there. He's got a Deagle of his own, and he's definitely not to be underestimated. 30 seconds on the clock, and they will get the bomb planted.
Tessus कर पाएगा?
They must be scared right
Tessus
now.
के पास कौन सी गन? उसके पास भी Deagle ही है.
Revitalized and energized back into the game immediately.
And this is something you mentioned, that you want to see Falcons being very dangerous, kind of no matter what they have in the round. And now they've collected some of the weapons that have been dropped thanks to NiKo's Deagle work previously. But an issue is a kit. They've got to move very quickly here if they truly want to challenge this. Yeah, that's why they started to run now. And a head trick on the other side.
Nice, Tessus.
Just have to play the time
ये round जीत सकती है अगर ये लोग बेवकूफी ना करे तो. मेरे को पता था. NiKo का ही मेरे को पता था. हाँ, Tessus.
Yeah, he's gonna get the kill, but if he really wanted to win it, it would have been the full.
ओए हार के अरे बाप रे बाप हार गई रे टीम.
It's a scary round and it's an expensive one as well for Bait, but honestly, I think surviving it is so important here in terms of not allowing Falcons to get this victory. Oh, nice shot.
Very nice shot.
NiKo का headshot.
NiKo with a couple of his own. Not impressed. Okay, 5-2. I mean, they've managed to get 5 rounds. I mean, the crazy thing here is that if they win this next one as well, it suddenly does get kind of uncomfortable for Falcons.
Oh, definitely. Nice nade in the middle. It bounces off the wall.
Nice. बहुत मस्त flash किया था. Let's go.
2 big kills, spraying down NPL and Kensasor. Hetrick and Alex. They lose that mid fight. We said it in the pre-game. It's so critical to be able to win it on both sides of the map. And this time it's NiKo, the early HE, the flash to set up that double.
Now they just need to do some damage. But you just don't want to allow Falcons to walk away with too much economy.
Pressure डाल दिया है B8 वालों के ऊपर.
I like also how NiKo, I think it was the very final bullet that killed both players, I think. If I'm not mistaken, I'm sure we'll catch that in the replay. But they're just holding their weapons, not wanting to give up the AWP.
Well,
I respect it.
Yeah, they don't have... Well, they have a little bit of cash on Hetrick and maybe on Essential, but in general, they also have to be worried about their own economy. So even if it's a long time to just save here, it kind of does make sense at the end of it. So interesting stuff. I'm definitely encouraged to see NiKo play this way.
3 concurrent viewers हैं.
Somebody like
Thank you
NiKo,
so much जो भी देख रहे हैं मेरा.
You know, it's a lot to ask. It is what you're expecting. NiKo is the guy you call when everything else has gone to hell and the team is struggling and nobody can.
अरे 1x bet यार क्या है बैटिंग ऐप नहीं कर चल मेरे में बैटिंग ऐप का प्रमोशन नहीं होना चाहिए. अरे यार मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ.
And I mean it's needed here. You know this is a great start from Bait. There's no question, and so they need to be continuing to make moves like that, set themselves on the map, and I'm curious what Bait might do in counter, because obviously Bait could try something like a rush. We haven't really seen like a
save किया है सामने वालों ने.
Tried to default or kind of make it look a little bit in question.
सबसे बुरी चीज क्या है कि गलत टाइम में मतलब Falcons इको राउंड खेलते गलत टाइम में वो भी एकदम.
If they get a sense that Falcons want to fight that hard for the middle, you can also play it so slow that all that happens is the Falcons waste a bunch of grenade in the middle, and then you know that's it. You wait another 30 seconds. There is another way to punish the mid aggression from Falcons, which is to push.
अगर B8 को हरा दिया ना Falcons आज तो इनका 100% रेट है जो Ancient में वो कम हो जाएगा. 100% रेट है इनका मतलब winning.
It's super popular. It's difficult to execute if anyone's playing forward in cave. But I don't think Falcons have been doing that too much right now. So
मैंने पता है एक जोनिक का देखा था हाईलाइट जब वो सिंपल के साथ डीगल खेल रहा था तो स्टार्टिंग में बहुत अच्छा मतलब टक्कर दी थी सिंपल को पर फिर हार गया था. पर नहीं अच्छा है जोनिक भी अच्छा है.
See what they actually end up doing here. Round number 9, scoreline 5-3
instead. का फ्लैश किया है.
At the moment, similar grenades. They're smoked off so early on that B side. The protocols here for Falcons making sure that it's very hard for anyone to get in towards the B lane so far. Kansas Tor though is trying for a bit of mid pressure, and he's not going to find any immediate threat in here.
So a decent amount of space for Bait to work with on the map actually. That's not contested, and it feels like this.
Official gaming chair partner of Blast TV.
But double setup in Donut. See if that's something that gets challenged here, but it's going to be
blacklight.com. मेरे को भी दे दो यार मैं स्ट्रीम कर रहा हूँ इनके लिए. मेरे को भी दे दो एक गेमिंग चेयर मेरे पास नहीं है. मेरे को प्लास्टिक वाली स्टूल पे बैठना पड़ता है. मजाक कर रहा हूँ. मतलब मेरे को नहीं चाहिए मैं इसका मजाक कर रहा हूँ. प्लास्टिक वाली स्टूल पे तो मैं बैठता ही हूँ.
I mean you definitely can. They are leaning quite far towards the B bomb site, but they're also aware that that means someone could be sneaking into the middle. You can see MONESY, I think it is, back there kind of watching for it. Got to be careful about this position though. It can be wallbanged quite a bit. Even this deep back, you have to be a little bit nervous.
Arey, MONESY.
So he's not surprised. Kansas still wins the fight. And that opens up the entire B side of the map here. 30 seconds. Tessus and Kickstand though.
Pressure डाला है सामने वालों के ऊपर. अच्छा pressure डाला है.
25 seconds now, and the bomb finally being punched into the site. Alex down to 13 health, but it's a 3v3 that Bait can still win.
Yeah, really well done by Bait to get this bomb planted. Can they hold it though? That's another question entirely. In comes Falcons around the back of the site. Also challenging K, making some noise there as well. Trying to run that distraction is Tessus, but now he's the last man standing. Takes down Kansas Orb.
कोई बात नहीं. Nice try Tessus. Nice try. NT.
Outclassing Falcons there with that B take.
Yeah, it's starting to get real serious here on the Falcon side of things. You could definitely feel it. 6-3 the scoreline. The early couple of kills that go through. That's a 4v3, but it only lasts for so long. Alex getting some of these kills. He's just done such a remarkable job at the start of the game. And Hetrick to follow it up as well. Very nicely played. Look at the pressure that it puts Falcons. Their money is in such a weird position once again. have we seen the AWP on MONESY at all?
No, I was just thinking that too.
ये राउंड अगर अच्छा खेलती है ना तो अगला राउंड ये लोग वो नहीं करेंगे इको राउंड ये अच्छा खेलना पड़ेगा इनको अच्छे से खेलना पड़ेगा डिफेंड करके खेलो काउंटर मतलब काउंटर टेरेस में तो डिफेंड करके खेलना पड़ेगा
So they are aware that this could be happening, but are they ready for this heavy donut fire? And NiKo definitely is not. We get that question answered right away. Meg is trying to escape as he's reloading. He gets caught by Alex, and it's another disastrous round here for Falcons. Kicks out and Tessa's 2 versus 4 right now. Bomb planted, and essentially 0 opportunities for Falcons to get back into this one. So they're already kind of saying, all right, let's go hunt a little bit here, Bait. Let's find these last rifles.
Yeah, they didn't waste any time getting into that mode, the hunting phase, and they got so much time to.
इनको सेव करना चाहिए किक्सन और टेसस को.
Often.
ऐसा मैं सोच रहा हूँ. मैं अच्छा प्लेयर नहीं हूँ फिर भी ओपिनियन तो दे सकता हूँ अपना.
Yeah, not as much as I thought they would, but
to be fair, their money's actually not great.
Yeah, that's probably what you're right. Thinking about too. 7-3.
7-3. 7-3. Now, I think before the major, you asked me that, like how I felt about the major, and I was obviously this is just about to one.
Yeah.
But I had this feeling that Falcons are going to struggle this event just because I don't know. I just have a feeling based off just like watching them the past few events. They are an incredibly.
एक और टाइम आउट लिया है इन लोगों ने.
Going to be totally wrong, but it's definitely Falcons have definitely seemed like they're good enough. They have the ceiling that they can win. But there's something there that has kind of stopped them so far, and so it's a question as to like whether they at this major can kind of get past that, because this is the moment to do so.
Oh yeah, I mean, in fairness to your point, they are best known for struggling. That's kind of been their brand for.
Commentator ने क्या बोल रहा है best known for struggling?
Is got everyone sort of fired up, which I don't think is unjustified. I do think this team is terrifying in some sense.
Oh yeah.
I think
totally.
A lot of what we're feeling here is that stage 1 buff. It is the fact that Bates are really sharp right now. Look at the way that Alex is negotiating these fights at the start of the rounds. He's got no fear. He knows that he's going to be able to fight. He doesn't care if NiKo's on the other side. That's how you want to play.
He is 13-6 right now.
Yep.
What an absolute beast. Speaking of which, though, Tessa's on 12-5. I didn't even realize that Tessa's was quiet.
Engine वैसे कौन सा साइड का मैप है, मतलब कौन से फेवरेबल मैप में आता है मेरे को नहीं पता. Ancient. I think terrorist ही होगा. वो पता नहीं मेरे को. हाँ, आज मेरा पता है वीडियो रिकॉर्ड करना का वो था, मतलब सोच रहा था आज वीडियो रिकॉर्ड करूँगा बस, लेकिन इसकी वजह से मैंने आज नहीं किया. ऊपर से मैं सो गया था दोपहर को. बाप रे क्या lazy as person है.
This is pretty tough, man.
That is rough.
I can take in a lot of copium in one breath, but that's but this is asking too much right now. About to be 8-3. Sure, if they can get to 8-4 and win the pistol in the second half, it's a fight. It's still an open map.
Yeah.
But it's
ये लोग जाने दे रहे क्या?
disguise the fact that Bates are winning against Falcons right now. There's
ये राउंड इन लोगों ने जाने दिया हुआ.
Alex doing really good, but kicks out on 1 kill. Mega's gone 2 kills.
ये ज़्यादा बेहतर था, क्योंकि वैसे भी इनके पास ज़्यादा अच्छी गन नहीं थी.
Stacking up with a lot of different issues at the moment on that CT side.
देखो मैं ये भी नहीं, मेरे को पता है कि देखो ये ऐसे तो मैचेस जीतने नहीं वाले हैं, पर फिर भी मैं सपोर्ट तो कर ही सकता हूँ इनका.
I think I said at the beginning that I was pretty confident.
इन लोगों को फिर भी मैं सपोर्ट तो कर ही सकता हूँ, क्योंकि यार NiKo है.
To be honest, a lot of them I'm not seeing.
NiKo किसी और टीम में होता तो मैं शायद किसी और टीम को ज़्यादा वो करता हूँ, मतलब प्रेज करता हूँ.
Have the run boost from middle onto the B lane to try and assist some of that B aggression you could do. Like there are so many different ways that you can have a lot more fun on the CT.
I think पहला Ancient पहला राउंड पहला वाला राउंड अरे पहला मैच Ancient में B80 जीतेगी लग रहा है.
Most of the excitement has been NiKo in the middle fighting, and Tessa's as well, like you said, but that's about it. Here we go. That's what I'm talking about. Tessa's now a little bit further forward. He can be quickly. Oh no, kicks, and that's
भाई ये क्या हो रहा है?
Distance. MPL's going to be taking 2 kills. MONESY next in line. Whoa,
destroyed.
Destroy कर दिया. In the faces of Falcons here. It's the last round of the half as well, and Bait just sending a strong message here to the Falcons.
Yeah, Tassus and NiKo, last two players left here for Falcons in a 2v4. There is a kit on Tassus. They are both looking to work from this cave position. A tiny choke point that's currently smoked off. There's
बहुत
so
pressure
much
डाल रहे हैं भाई
that can still be tossed
Falcons
in
का
there.
अरे
There we go. The HE takes down
अरे
Tassus, and there's nothing NiKo can do. And that is a crazy strong first half coming
चलो
in from
first
My
half हो
goodness,
गया
can Falcons come back? We'll find out after the break.
ब्रेक हो गया चलो कोई बात भाई ऑस्टिन है ना अमेरिका में आता है ऑस्टिन क्या बेकार
What's AI saying about your brand? SEMrush's AI toolkit tracks how AI sees you and the competition, so you can take control of your.
चलो कोई बात हाँ इनका भी देख लेते हैं अरे इसका ऑस्टिन है ना अमेरिका में आता है ऑस्टिन अरे वो किधर है भाई दूसरी टीम का कहाँ है मैच Face clean. Heroic versus face clean. Oh, simple top fragger है सामने वाली टीम. Oh, nice.
Young Star dinked up, brought down super low. Young Star dinked up, brought down super low. That's a crazy
simple.
shot from Tanir, but he's going to need a couple more. Oh my God, he does have it in him.
Whoa.
Nails them all.
Heroic.
And you gotta say something back because that's unlosable.
ये लोग तो चिल्लाने लगे.
Damn. Never supposed to be heroics round. 2v4 in the final seconds.
He also ripped his headphones out.
Oh, nice. बहुत अच्छा. TNIR.
He's like,
yeah, don't let go of defuse, man.
that would have, yeah. But don't worry, it's fine. He didn't. He's a professional.
Yeah, well, we've seen it happen before, but that's okay. That's just added a layer of spice into this game, and you felt like FaZe had already won it. Did I just hear bots?
Yeah, you did. They did just call them bots.
Yeah, well.
That's an interesting move to say that. 310 down, but let's...
You know, buy in early.
अरे यार ये लोग सही में बहुत अजीब है हीरोइक वाले ये इनको पता है कि इनकी लगी पड़ी है
Open second round.
Simple.
No helmet either.
सिंपल हो हमारा भाई ऐसी चीज मतलब छोटी मोटी चीज थोड़ी हुई
From heroic.
हीरोइक तो कुछ ज्यादा ही हो गया भाई मतलब वो बोल रहे थे इनको बॉट बोल रहे थे भाई इनका हारने का हालत हो गया 3 मैच ही तो बाकी हैं 3 चांसेस मतलब इनके 3 चांस ही तो है बच्चे वो
A little personal. Gonna make for some scrappy rounds, you can imagine. Especially now that Heroic actually finds something in this second half. I'm glad it's not a blowout. I want this game to go on just a little bit longer.
Yes, I'm with you there. I respect Tanir so much for the 4K defuse, give some pious the AWP in round 2. That's just unbelievable cool. I'm cat now for FaZe, Rain late at long. But there's no way he should make it out. Maybe.
Pressure डाला है FaZe वालों के ऊपर. Ooh, nice.
Long lost. A plant.
Okay,
great.
2 of them are really low on health. Frozen should have a bomb plant at a guarantee here, but he's decided to delay for a moment. And that has allowed Heroic to close the distance somewhat. But right now, there's only HP on Youngstar. He's got 1 kill to his name.
Ooh, nice.
Collateral! Oh,
damn.
God.
Ooh, boy.
Ice cold! And FaZe are back on their in Austin. That is
करीगन तो पागल हो गया यार क्या मतलब
Never seen anything like this game. The aura, the highlights, the clutches.
2 कैसे अच्छा 2 को एक साथ मारा था damn
Everyone's taken part here for FaZe. Full eco win.
Damn.
You called it as well. You said no one's got health, and that's how he wins the round. Youngstar 1-14.
1-14, he loses
Not
the 1v1.
out.
Oh man, the humanity.
This is unbelievable, dude. FaZe highlight reel. And you've given the second round AWP over.
Yeah,
to make matters count.
वो करेगा
Rolling back the years.
भाई सिंपल ऑप क्यों नहीं चला रहा यार उसके पास तो पैसे भी अच्छे खासे
Frozen wanted to impress Simple. He's done
एक के
that.
चला रहा है
Clutch just put FaZe back to their winning ways. Put
ओह
Frozen
हो
first
अच्छा
place.
अच्छा अच्छा
He's
बहुत
even
अच्छा
here to get the trade for Simple over on long, keeping this round
हगी
safe
भाई
as
हीरोइक
he
हगी
does
हगी
so.
फ्यू देखता हूँ भाई मेरा
No,
दूसरा
no
मैच
matter
चालू हो
what
गया कि
they
नहीं
want to do, no matter what they want to say, this game might.
डाइंग लाइट बीस्ट आने वाला भाई मेरे को खेलना है मेरे को डाइंग लाइट पता है अभी जो रिसेंट डाइंग लाइट पे भी वीडियो बनानी है तो मैं बना नहीं पा रहा बिकॉज ऑब्वियसली मैं बहुत आलसी हूँ यूट्यूब वालों को पता चल गया कैसे पीसी में स्किप कर सकते हैं नीको यूट्यूब वालों को पता चल गया कैसे मैं स्किप करता हूँ ऐड पीसी में टीवी वाला तो हटा दिया इन लोगों ने
Get that first default kill in slow motion. I'd love to see that, like as slow as we can, because that is classic.
Nice.
And here they have them, the newlyweds, MONESY and NiKo. We know that they love to play together. Getting them back on the roster together, obviously it was.
Engine साइड से टेररिस्ट के फेवरेबल मैप टेररिस्ट फेवरेबल मैप है शायद से तक तो जिस तरीके से खेल रही है अभी नीको मतलब फैल्कन्स नाइस वाओ नहीं नहीं कर पाएगा नीको नहीं कर पाएगा नहीं कर पाएगा नहीं कर पाएगा पता था मेरे को पता था अबे अगर मैं ही पनौती हुआ तो यार अभी तो जीत रही थी अभी मैं देख रहा हूँ तो हार गई मैं अगर पनौती हुआ तो बहुत बुरा हो जाएगा
trying to apply as much patience and not rush himself there because the defuse is coming in and like you say he has to make a decision in his
पता
mind.
क्या मेरे को ये जो टिप्स की और ये जो मैं टिप्स लाया हूँ ना मेरे को पता है किसकी वजह से आदत पड़ी अमेरिकन स्ट्रीमर की वजह से
You can only be delayed for so long in that fight before you're starting to have problems and we saw
अमेरिकन स्ट्रीमर्स में पता क्या करते हैं बड़ी सी बोतल ले आएंगे भाई ये तो मेरी छोटी बोतल है बड़ी सी बोतल ले आएंगे और वही पूरे स्ट्रीम में पीते रहेंगे 10 घंटे तक स्ट्रीम करते रहेंगे और वही बोतल बाप रे मेरी तो हालत खराब हो जाती है इससे तो
Imagine having that battle against somebody like NiKo with that kind of history and just being so chilled out about it. He knew exactly what he was doing. Didn't really have to peek him, just had to stop NiKo from peeking and stopping the defuse. And also the trust from the other member of Bait there to just continue the defuse for 10 seconds. It's such an easy time to, you know, to
देखो इतना तो पता चल गया है NiKo को
got to stop the defuse and then lose the round anyway probably. So
whack movement भाई whack movement
getting that round back and
जाइवू भी बहुत अच्छा प्लेयर बहुत बहुत मेरे को जो वाइटैलिटी के जो सबसे बेकार में मतलब लगता है वो एपेक्स है कुछ ज्यादा ही टॉक्सिक है
early push coming in NiKo trying to find that headshot and yeah they might need to fall back here Senfield goes down and it's a nice start here for Falcons
and this round is worth 2 and right now Bait are already on 10. So
nice NiKo
picks up another
किll. ज़्यादा ही NiKo कर रहा है यार.
Looking really good right now for Falcons. Another kill for NiKo, holding it down on the flank, and that's going to rout the rest of Bates as they run through CT spawn to try to keep these weapons.
मोबाइल का चार्ज भी कम हो रहा है मेरे फेस गेम वाला तो जब वो इनका पहला मैच खत्म होगा तो मैं obviously इसको चार्ज करने बैठूंगा.
Potentially sacking at least 1 or 2 players to get rid of these remaining weapons from Bates as they try to hide.
It's worth maybe pointing out, and I'm sure that Bates have looked at the stats as well, but there's a giant over-representation for Falcons that attack in the bomb side on this map. So if you're Bait and you wanted to find a an opportunity to stack a bomb site and try and see if you get it. Like you're picking B every time based on the stats alone. Oh, that's very expensive. Hetrick now with 4 looking.
Nice. Tesus ने कर लिया भाई. Tesus ने वो बचा लिया भाई अपना AK. मतलब अपना AK बचा लिया, मतलब उसने जिसका AK लिया था अब वो यूज नहीं कर पाएंगे यानी इनको इको राउंड खेलना पड़ेगा अगर इनके पास पैसे कम है तो.
At all. I mean that round was a 2-for-1 situation where because you know both teams had bought, you know, spent all their money essentially, had nothing in the tank. It's a 2-for-1, and so if you know they had an opportunity to come away with 4 players alive if they didn't even try to take those risks. So now they've kind of put themselves in an even more volatile position, which can only be remedied for Falcons if they are to just close this next round. Yeah, that's what they have to do.
And preferably without too many casualties as well. What a weird way to end it. I think rounds like these, when they end like this, it does something else to a team, which is the fact that it just makes it harder to celebrate if you're on the Falcon side.
Yeah.
Like there are fewer high fives. You can see it here, right? Like it's sort of a round victory where you think, no, like we just lost so much, but there's no armor, a couple of upgraded pistols. That's about it. So yeah, see what they could do.
मैं इसका हाईलाइट भी डालूंगा इस स्ट्रीम का. अगर मैं हाईलाइट डाल मतलब अगर हाईलाइट मैं एडिट करवाऊंगा तो मैं कर दूंगा वरना मैं किसी को बोल दूंगा.
Fairly popular. And they're stacking B. Like I said, looking at the stats, it's a huge. Just to be accurate, there's like
सारे के सारे B पे आ गए वाह. और बाकी सारे A पे जा रहे हैं. टेसस उनको थोड़ा कंफ्यूज करने के लिए गया है B पे.
Yeah, Falcons.
And that's it.
The correct guess. I mean, we saw Fate doing the same thing on their T side, getting some correct guesses, avoiding the stacks. It started to worry less about losing those 4 rifles in the previous round. Oh, but I was about to say, Tesla's going down for free there. You're going to donate this AK. And you've got a situation where Bait can try to play for some exit kills. And again, like that, they know that they got rid of 4 rifles in the previous round. If they can engineer a scenario here where they even just take away just 1 more, you know, so that's painful. That's really painful because then Falcons are still in a position where they can just be instantly reset if they lose 1 round.
It all accumulates over time, and the good thing for Bait is they have a bit of a buffer before they get caught up by Falcons. So yeah, steal whatever you can, try and make
स्ट्रीम तो 12 बजे तक चलेगी जब तक. चलो ये वाला राउंड हमारा Falcons की तरफ जाते हैं.
10-7 scoreline now. 3-round lead for Bait. They will be able to buy into the next one. Probably not the most amazing buy, but the stolen AK, it all kind of adds up. I don't know about you, but I feel like there's a good chance that Falcons are right back in this game, and especially if you consider the idea that I would say, even though NiKo was playing very well in the first half, he, for me, is such a more scary player on the T side. Like, that's where he can take all the initiative. You already seen a couple of times how he
3 chance है अभी भी Falcon के पास.
Micro angle, you know, player.
3 चांस मतलब 3 चांस का मतलब मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि स्टेक अगर 3 मैचेस लगातार जीतती हैं ऐसे 3 मैच. ओह नाइस. बहुत अच्छा ऑप चलाया है. मोनेसी बहुत अच्छा ऑप चला. मेरे को अभी भी पता है. मैं जब IEM मेल 1 देख रहा था ना, जब उसने मिराज नाम है ना उसमें जो लास्ट में जो अपना ओप्स है जो अपनी तरफ मतलब अपनी टीम की तरफ पूरा राउंड किया था ना, सही में मस्त.
Don't look interested in this. I mean, they don't have any economy either, so they are looking to let it go, and I think that's okay.
Yes, it's partly based on the money, and I think it's
pressure डाल लिया इन लोगों के ऊपर.
You're just saying, okay, what's the real difference really between 10-7 and 10-8? The only thing that can be bad here is if we lose everything, because then 10-8 is kind of getting close right now. They're still fighting in the next round, so I respect the choice for Bait. I think it's good to be able to call that early on. We saw Falcons themselves have a couple of rounds where they tried to go for those 2v2, 3v3 retakes, and they didn't win them, and that's one of the reasons why MONESY, you know, had no AWP in the first half. So
yes,
why would you put yourself in that position if you're head trick?
Yeah, it's there's that analog with tournament poker again, where sometimes you just have to wait for a better spot. Sometimes you just have to like let the ante just like eat you up a little bit and just wait for a better spot. And I think that's a good choice. We'll see if they can find a better start in this round. Lots of mid exchange on the utility once again, as you'd expect. But you got Falcons holding the deeper lines and able to avoid the AWP shenanigans as well from the red room. That's always important. And you've got still 3 players from Bait on this B site. Cynthia looking to get aggressive. Got to be very careful. You can see Falcons are ready and waiting for it. We've got an AWP to back this one up now, though. So there's a bigger play afoot here for Bait.
Yeah, if they can trick somebody into it, I mean,
it's
an unusual position to find the AWP, to put it mildly. Normally, not going to be seeing it here.
नहीं 2 को ले गया बाप रे.
He got the crouching player, I think, and then like must have just barely missed legging the other player. I'm not sure, but either way, yeah, 2 for 1. You'll have that every single day. This could be disastrous for Falcons because they've got 40 seconds left, and they've got to now create a new plan. They've got to mid around this, and they're deciding to just walk through Donut, and it is completely clear.
Who is that on the A bomb side? It's Kansas. Oh, he's got an incendiary. He's in a position where they can't easily really get rid of him. 20 seconds, he's not going to be able to use the grenade now, but he catches them at the perfect time. Never mind, there's the incendiary. Yeah, MONESY is going to be angry about that one. 15 seconds on the clock. They try to get in there, but it's just not going to work. Fantastic round from Bait. Get up to 11, and they get to steal some of the AKs on top of it. That 2 for 1 shot. I mean, you are right. Obviously, he did crouch into the headshot, but it just looked so weird.
Yeah. Well, the crazy thing is the player behind that got collatted, was he already damaged, and was it a leg shot? Or did he, like, narrowly miss that threshold between the one shot upper body shot versus leg shot? That's actually so wild. That's crazy.
Tech issues से मुझे उसकी याद आ गई यार 4 second की.
Angle like that to, like, trade in that way?
नहीं बात करनी है. अरे यार इंडिया में अब CS की नहीं, CS का नहीं होता है यार टूर्नामेंट्स. ये मुझे बहुत बुरा लगा क्योंकि ऑब्वियसली जो हुआ था वो बहुत बुरा हुआ था.
Alone and in what is an automatic loss position, unless you get 2 for 1. That was the only way out. So, it was actually a setup that betrayed Bait, but then they sort of made it work anyway.
Yes, yeah. It just makes me laugh when it's like, oh, the only way out is to collat.
Yeah.
क्या हो जाएगा अगर
close range? Just like, okay, this is.
क्या हो जाएगा अगर ये लोग चीटिंग कर रहे हो और फाल्कन सीधा फाइनल्स में पहुंच जाए?
Devastating bit of very
क्या सपने दिखता हूँ मैं?
Falcons. This is the one round where something like that happens, because like stuff like that can always happen and it can take different forms, but they got to really express the full degree of resiliency that they have right now to.
मैं यूज में थेटरिंग से नेट चला रहा हूँ, लेकिन जब ये पहला राउंड खत्म होगा, पहला मैच खत्म होगा, तो मैं ऑब्वियसली चार्ज में रखूंगा मोबाइल. 20 मिनट का शायद ब्रेक होते हैं तो उसके लिए तो साथ साथ चार्ज भी होते रहेगा. एंड यू नो मैं क्या कहना चाहता हूँ.
How much resiliency is there? How quick before you fall back into the older Falcons feeling of, oh no, like we're.
सही में मेजर्स को पता है. I think 3 मेजर्स जीता है ऑस्ट्रेलिया में था तब शायद तक, मुझे अच्छे से याद नहीं है.
You can wash that feeling away completely. So
yeah. They have, they've at least managed to get to those finals often, and I think the consensus through some of the performances that they've had over the last couple of months has everyone feeling like they are a top 2 team, along with Vitality, the only team that can maybe truly tackle Vitality and push them to their limit. So they do at least have some of that, as you were describing. Some of that does exist, but without maybe winning, it's hard to say that. How they actually feel about that, because this is what I was saying about the honeymoon stuff. How foundational stuff exists with Falcons, because they've been so much stability with all of the changes consistently.
Yeah. Well, I think that is a big question, and I think also, a Vitality or a Spirit or something like that early on in a tournament like this, and we're going to see that at some point in the next stage, right?
Why.exe mentioned why?
Command such a different presence early on, even in the first game. You are going to be, if you're Bait playing Spirit or Vitality, I think you have a different feel. I think Falcons still have that aura around them that, but we can beat them. Like, there is a way to do it. They're not completely invincible yet, even if they are a really strong team. So
yeah, that's true.
I think Spirit and Vitality somehow are just scary in a different kind of way.
Yeah.
At least in my opinion.
You're totally right. You're totally right. That is very strange.
It happens for some
you're totally right.
I think for you know, I think any team that's had something
काफी
like
गर्मी हो रही है यार सही में मेरे को एसी चाहिए रूम में सही में
you get like some extra bonus points just because other teams start to be, you know, they start to mind game themselves against you. You know, you get more for free in that sense because they're so worried. Here's that from earlier. I mean, yeah, they did what they needed to. They got that shot on the corner and it wasn't enough. We are just dealing with one player that has one of the earbuds apparently not working, or it was. Nice job on the admins for clearing it up. Well done. We're back in the game. The scoreline is 11-8 in favor of Bait here. It's a best-of-one game. The first here at the second stage of the last Austin Major. And Falcons, I mean, they are heavy favorites in this one. We saw it earlier in the odds, but right now, they're not playing like
AWM MONESY बस अब क्या अब तो MONESY को बस अच्छा खेलना है
right now, or they will end up with an early loss, and that is actually disastrous. It's not just a best of one loss, it could be a really quick slide down to a bad position.
Oh, kicks
nice.
Takes down Alex, who has been quite the terror.
Wall banged. Oh, he wall banged him at the diagonal spot as well. That's tried a lot. It became really popular overnight, and then everyone, you know, stopped playing there. The replay of that is going to be fun to see.
And that's such a key pick-off to get. We have the all battle MONESY against Headtrick. But having worked that pick successfully, they have to realize, okay, what are they doing off of the reset? Are they going to rotate it elsewhere, or are they going to just like double down on towards B? So far, we've got a 1-3B split, which is something that Falcons also did when they were in a similar position on their CT side. It's pretty effective. But we'll see if Bait can hold.
He's already seen the shadow here, Hetrick. He knows that someone's... Look at how much he's trying to bait him out.
Bye, क्या mind game mind game खेला था अच्छा बहुत
He's actually able to save them anyway. That could have been disastrous. That should have been the panic moment where everything goes wrong. Now they delayed the bomb plant as well with another incendiary. Kansas saw with a headshot. Falcons, they're on the bomb site, but where's the bomb plant coming
NiKo.
from?
Nahi yaar.
And not succeeding. NPL with the headshot. I can't believe that Bait managed to fight their way out of that round.
Dude, the awkwardness in game.
पहला round Bait या जो भी B8
so funny to see, and I mean, just Headrick still able to connect the shot regardless. Still just keeping his cool because it's just the perfection with which the incendiary landed directly on his teammate. It was just like it was
cinema, wasn't it?
So perfect.
वहाँ पर से tech issue है क्या?
Look at the difference in atmosphere. Obviously, it's easier to laugh when you're
winning.
It's
a timeout हुआ.
They are, you know, even in spite of that, it's a messy round, a little bit chaotic.
Last round है.
It's good fun.
पैसे भी नहीं है.
Timeout used. Last that they have.
मुश्किल है. मुश्किल है
जीतना. It feels like, you know, Bait have there's that sense of identity and flair with some of the ways that they're able to play, like they're able to run some of their stuff, and they look full of life on the server. But Falcons kind of look like
Kicksane.
Everything consistently. There we go.
So I mean, I think you're right, but part of that also comes from just to be perfectly clear. Bait have had to fight their way to the major, qualifying through a bunch of online tournaments in CCT, and it's really hard to do that. That environment is, you're going to be battle-heartened when you get through that. You play so many games against so many different teams, it's chaos, so I think they will have that team identity. That is disgusting. A bomb that lands on top of Falcons in the round that might lose them the game here. And almost all of them are weak right from the start. Alex jumps to get the information. More damage being dished out now, and they just get through. They're so soft already. Paper thin on the other side as MONESY finds himself alone with the Galil picked up against 4.
नहीं जीतने वाली. पहला round गया इनके Bait के पास गया.
Now the fire at his feet, and Santiago will take him down. Bait taking out Falcons in the early stages here at the second half of the major. That's crazy to witness.
कितने round होने वाले बच्चे मतलब?
That's not on my pickings, and I don't think it's on many people's pickings. That's definitely a very difficult, very tough loss for them to have. Again, this is a best of one. This stuff can happen. That's something that they all know. I mean, NiKo said it in the interview. They know what they're up against in a situation like this.
चलो तो 20 मिनट बाद मिलते हैं आप लोगों से.
And for them
to
get a result like
कितने
this,
time का break हुआ है?
it's so critical. Having an upset victory, like Falcons will warm up. They will get better.
I think so. I think they will improve over time, but there's no question that That stage 1 buff makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
You see the sharpness with which Alex, at the start of the game, right off the bat, challenged everybody. He didn't care if it was NiKo or MONESY on the other side. He was just ready to take them out, and he did. So really impressive stuff, and it puts Falcons in this slightly scary position. They're going to play another best of 1, obviously. But if that one goes bad, then we're talking about a tough comeback from the position. We'll find out how all that plays out a little bit later on. We do have a quick break, and then we'll be back with more Counter-Strike here on the B stream.
मिलते हैं दोस्तों अब सीधा 20 मिनट या जितनी जब तक मैच नहीं चालू होता तब तक 5-20 मिनट ही होगा शायद तक